Hey everyone, happy Monday. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and I wanted to go live tonight to talk to y'all about some immigration issues here in the U.S., answer some of your questions, but not give you legal advice. But I am with Williams Immigration. I'm the managing attorney, and we help family members and business owners and entrepreneurs across the U.S. with their U.S. immigration needs. And let's jump in. So I wanted to come on tonight and really talk about timing and timing in an immigration case. And I'm not really wanting to talk tonight about the processing times of the immigration service. I want to talk about processing times of the firm and with my clients. Hey there, Zio. Thanks for joining. And one of the first questions that I always get is, how quickly can we get this filed? What's going to happen? How quickly will the immigration service make a decision? And so how quickly can we get this filed really depends on you oftentimes, and how quickly you provide documents that we can file with. And I know that people always want to file super, super fast. I've had many clients tell me over the years, I want to file fast, and if we don't have something, we'll just give it to them later. But I don't think that when people say that, I don't think they understand what that really means. So I wanted to take some time tonight to really break that down for you. And in the middle of breaking that down, I will answer questions that I see. And just so you're aware, we're live on TikTok. We're also live on Facebook page, the private Facebook group, as well as the YouTube channel. So when we're putting together an application, when you've hired me and we're working together, unless there is some real big deadline that we are working towards, right? And for a lot of my employment-based cases, the deadline is what day you as the employer would like the new hire, your new team member to start. That's usually the day, that's usually our deadline. But the reality is oftentimes that deadline is a little bit flexible, because most of my clients, when I ask them what day they would like their new team member to start, almost all of them say yesterday, right? So we all laugh about that. And then we come up with what we think is a realistic start date based on processing times. But a key determiner of whether or not we can file, sort of quote unquote on time, is how quickly documents are sent to the firm. And so I always tell people, we have all the time in the world, again, outside of some real hard deadlines that we may run up against, we have all the time in the world to get all of the documents and send them into the immigration service, right? On the front end of any application, I want to make sure that I think we have really good documents, that they are what is required for that particular application type, that we are showing the immigration service how you meet the requirements. That's crucial. All that is done through documents. If you were on my live last week, we talked a lot about documents and that we need really good documents. Sometimes it takes a while to get documents. Some of the documents that we need may not be where you are. If you are in the US and we need documents from overseas, sometimes that's going to take time. If you are overseas and you need documents, let's say from a third country or from a municipality within your country that's just known to take a long time, documents sometimes do not come quickly. That is why that is one of the first things that you get when you start working with my firm, is a document list for the particular application that we are filing. So we get everything, we get the documents, we put them together, we prepare the application, we send the application in. Great, we're moving and grooving. When the immigration service, if the immigration service comes back and asks for more, or they ask for more questions, they ask for more documents, we don't have an infinite amount of time to hand them those documents or to provide them those documents. They will give us a specific amount of time by which we must get back to them, by which we must respond to them. If we're talking the immigration service in the US, we get a request for further evidence, otherwise known as an RFE. Usually we're going to get about 12 weeks, right? Sometimes we'll get less. Sometimes we'll only get 33 days, depending on, what that request is for. But my point is that we are time bound at that point. They have given us a set day by which they need to receive that additional evidence. So if you are having trouble, or frankly, you just couldn't be bothered to reach out and get documents that may have been a little bit harder to get or may have taken longer to get, and you prioritize filing fast over providing all of the documentation, well, now we're looking at only 12 weeks potentially, or 33 days to get those same documents and send them into the Immigration Service. If the Immigration Service still doesn't like what they're getting, they can then issue us a notice of intent to deny. Nobody likes a notice of intent to deny. I don't. My clients don't like it. Nobody likes it. But a notice of intent to deny, we're given 30 days to respond and an extra 3 days because they mail it to me. So a total of 33 days to respond. So if you thought getting documents on the very front end, when really it was sort of a limitless timeline to 33 days, you are running. Like, that's all you're thinking about for those next 33 days, right? Is how do I live my life, go to work, take care of my family, hang out with my friends, do whatever it is that you have to do, and get all these documents. And people are telling me, oh my God, it's going to take 3 weeks to get you this, or it's going to take you 2 weeks, or 4 days. 4 days to get a document when you only have 33 days to respond seems like an eternity. So I mention this because sometimes, nobody ever likes to hear this, but I keep saying it because I truly believe in it. Sometimes it is better to slow the process down in the front end at the beginning to give you an opportunity to get the documents, to make sure that we have everything that we need, versus filing quickly and giving the Immigration Service an excuse to send us an RFE. So that is my plug this evening. Surrounding documents and the timing of those documents, because having to get documents when we are truly time bound by a request for further evidence or a notice of intent to deny is stressful. And let's be clear, even though if it's, let's say it's a notice of intent to deny, even though you have 33 days to respond, you don't have 33 days to send me the documents, because I need time to prepare the documents, prepare the application and send it back to them. So really you have less than 33 days. So while I do think an RFE in some cases is a gift, it gives us another chance, another bite at the apple of the application, we are absolutely time bound. So I want people to really kind of remember that and take that into consideration. And I do see some questions, so let me scroll back here. Oh, there was something else I wanted to tell y'all. Let me tell y'all this before we dive into some of these questions. The Immigration Service is piloting a program out of the Dublin consulate right now. And that program that they are piloting is for digital visas. So normally you get a visa, if you're overseas, you get a visa. The visa takes up the entire page of your passport, like just the entire page. It's huge. So what they are doing now is they are doing a pilot program. It's running out of Dublin, out of the Dublin embassy, and they are running it on a small number of K1 fiancé visas. So this is not at all worldwide yet. It's not even, for all of the visa categories that are processed in Dublin. It is only right now for a small number of the K1 visas. So fingers crossed it is a positive pilot program and they are, getting it to do what they want it to do. I think if they can get it to work, it would save them a whole lot of time. And hopefully in saving them time, it means hopefully it would free up time for officers to get through other cases where people, have to come in and maybe give a little bit more time to those cases. So, and also make it easier. So keep your fingers crossed on that. I think that might be a pretty good thing if they can get that pilot program doing what they want it to do. So one of the questions I have is, I received a request for initial evidence, medical evidence, 2 weeks after you filed your 485. I don't know what the question is. If you can elaborate on your question, because I'm not sure. You got a request for your medical exam. If you got a request for a medical exam, you need to have a medical exam and send it in. I don't know what else is in this. I don't know what else is in the RFE. But you want to make sure that you are responding on time, for sure. And as we go through these questions, y'all, keep in mind, all questions about processing times I cannot answer, other than to say immigration is taking a little long right now. When my clients ask me processing times, I look them up each and every single time on the immigration website. And that is because I do not have them all memorized. There are far too many of them. The processing times are dependent upon the office that is processing the application and the type of application. So that is just too many applications for me to remember what the processing times are. So just keep that in mind. As well, I don't give legal advice on my lives. I don't give legal advice in the DMs. I don't give legal advice in the comments. While I am a lawyer, I'm not your specific lawyer. So if you would like legal advice from me, you are welcome to schedule a consultation. You are welcome to work with me, become a client, and then I'm happy to give you legal advice, walk you through your case, take you step by step through that. But these are really just general, very high level information so that you all feel that you have good info on what you may about to be embark on in the U.S. immigration world, or what you are currently, maybe in the middle of. Let's see here. My asylum was denied in immigration court. An appeal is administratively closed. Can we terminate asylum? The real short answer to your question is I don't know. I don't handle any asylum work. That is not in my wheelhouse. I would recommend that you ask that of an immigration attorney who handles asylum and deportation defense and immigration court work all day, every day. And that is just not me. So I'm sorry, I can't answer that question for you because I don't know. But there are some amazing attorneys out there who absolutely do deportation defense work and are in immigration court daily who could absolutely help you. I would recommend that you schedule a consultation with one of them. Let me see here. What else do we have? I'm scrolling, y'all. Hold on one second. Oh, I appreciate all the hearts, guys. Let me see here. Another asylum question. If one cancels asylum request, can you reapply? If yes, on what grounds? Two very good questions. Two questions I do not know the answer to, just because I don't handle any asylum work. So I would recommend that you chat with an immigration attorney who handles asylum work on a regular. Elisa's asking if I'm okay. I am getting better. I appreciate you asking. My cough is still kind of gnarly, but I'm working on it. I'm working on that. Let's see. Hello, Mohammed. Thanks for joining. Thanks for dropping a hello there. I appreciate that, y'all. I don't know why I try to do this with my glasses on. I just forget to put them on. Oh, much better. Hi, Claire. Thanks for joining. Okay. If you were deported 20 years ago and never left, your daughter's 21, can she apply for you? I really don't handle deportation issues, and although your deportation order was 20 years ago, to be honest with you, I don't know. The cases that we do overwhelmingly in my office are employment-based cases. So that means we have an employer who's looking to employ an individual. That individual that they find is not a U.S. citizen and needs an employment-based visa. So they need the correct visa so that they can work. We represent students who are looking to change their status. They have maybe graduated, they have found an employer. So that employer will come to us, or the student will come to us, say that that they need some assistance with getting the right visa in place. We also represent families. Usually in my practice, that's going to be a US citizen or a current green card holder who wants to apply for a green card for their fiance or their spouse, their minor children. And remember, in US immigration, a minor child is under 21 and unmarried. And I know in many other contexts, it's 18, under 18 makes you a minor, but for immigration, the child is anyone under 21 and unmarried, or a US citizen who is applying for their parents. That's kind of the majority of what my practice is. So I generally don't do I don't do anything that really touches deportation. So I don't know. I have a U visa and I renewed my DACA last year. Will that affect my ability to adjust status? I have no idea. To be honest with you, I've never done a U visa, so I do not know. But I would say you definitely want to get a consultation with an attorney that does U visas, does a fair amount of U visas, and they can lead you in the right direction. Oh, please. My husband and I got invited for an interview with USCIS for a green card. What kinds of questions? That is a really good question. So congrats on getting to the part where you have an interview. The purpose of the interview for a green card case, for a marriage-based green card case, is to make sure that the marriage is not a sham marriage, to make sure that you didn't get married just to get a green card or just to give someone a green card, that you got married with the intent of being married, staying married, doing all the things that married people do, right? So the questions are really about, do you all know one another? All sorts of questions to elicit, do you all know one another? Is what you said in the application accurate? Are you all building a life together? That sort of thing. And those questions will change depending on how long y'all have been together. If you've been together, 4 years versus 4 months, the questions are going to change. The questions are going to be different. So the questions are really looking at, why did you two get together? What does your relationship look like now? Those kinds of things. My office does mock interviews. So if you'd like to if you and your spouse would like to do a mock interview, we're certainly happy to do that with you to, and go through your case, ask you questions, give you, a comfort level of what you may experience when you go into your local office. And we can certainly do that for couples nationwide. So you can click the link in the bio if you want to get that set up. Let me see here. What else do we have for questions? We've got some more asylum questions in here. Y'all, I don't do asylum, so we're going to skip those questions because that's just definitely not in my wheelhouse. What else? Can a friend be a co-sponsor for, I'm assuming it's on my 130 with a different address? So the individuals that can be co-sponsors are, friends, family. Your co-sponsor doesn't have to be a family member. It can be a friend. It can be a family member. Your co-sponsor does not have to live with you. They do, however, need to be willing to comply with and fully understand what it means to be a co-sponsor. It means that in the eyes of the federal government, they will be financially responsible if the immigrant applies for and receives benefits that are based on income. It means that the government, if that person does receive these benefits, can come after the sponsor and the co-sponsor for repayment of those benefits. It typically shifts out to about 10 years if someone becomes a U.S. citizen or they pass away, or those types of things, those big things, like those super big things, right? Then your obligations as the co-sponsor end, but typically it will shift out to be about 10 years. But no, your co-sponsor does not have to live with you. They do not have to be at the same address. It could be a friend, it can be a family member. They do not have to be related to you. So hopefully that's helpful. Can I file Form N-400, which is the citizenship application, while my green card renewal is being processed? Yes, you can. I don't know if that's a good strategy for you, but yes, those things can be done in conjunction with one another. If you wanted to talk strategy, why that might be a good thing for you, why that might not be such a good thing for you, you're welcome to schedule a consultation. In general, the Immigration Service is going to want to see that you are a green card holder before you file for U.S. citizenship. Oftentimes people will schedule a consultation and they say, I want to apply for U.S. citizenship. I want to get my work authorization. And that's cool. But sometimes these individuals are out of status, or they haven't been a permanent resident, i.e. a green card holder, for long enough. Excuse me. So in order to apply to become a U.S. citizen, you must, if you are not married to a U.S. citizen, you must be a green card holder for at least 5 years. And then you can apply for U.S. citizenship. If you are married to a U.S. citizenship, you only have to wait for 3 years. You must live in the jurisdiction of your local office, and you must have been physically present in the U.S. for half of the required time, so either half of that 3 years or half of that 5 years. So, if y'all have questions about applying for U.S. citizenship, you can certainly schedule a consultation. I'm happy to chat with you about that. And U.S. citizenship has a lot of benefits. One is shielding you from being deported. Having a green card alone does not mean that the U.S. government cannot move to issue a deportation order against you and put you into removal proceedings for certain things. So just keep that in mind. What else do we have? Yeah, I gotta go cook dinner, so I'm not gonna stay on too much longer. I got my expedite accepted, but I didn't get interviewed. It's been 5 months. What should I do? I don't quite know what type of expedite or what kind of case you are talking about. If it's been 5 months, I would reach back out to the office that approved your expedite and ask them what's going on and ask them for an update. What will happen to your EAD card if you have a misdemeanor? Short answer is I don't know. And I don't know because I don't know how you got your EAD card. So having a criminal record can have many different effects on your immigration status. So that is really a question that you would need to schedule a consultation for, that we can talk through exactly how you got your EAD, what the misdemeanor is, what your overall status is, because it may not just have an impact on your EAD, it may have an impact on your overall status, and that's also super important to know. So if you are an immigrant here in the United States and you're not at the point where you have U.S. citizenship, if you do have any sort of interaction with the criminal justice system in the U.S., you want to make sure that you are having a conversation with an immigration attorney so that they can guide you and tell you what the impact of your specific charges, your specific plea deal, your specific conviction may be on your immigration status. You definitely want to know that. That is not something I can cover during the course of a live. Let's see here. I've heard that visas are generally not approved at the end of the year due to quotas. I'm going to make an assumption that you mean green card applications. So the majority of green card, or many green card applications, are subject to the preference categories. So towards the end of the year, I'm going to change that a little bit for you, meaning towards the end of the fiscal year. So the end of the fiscal year is September 30th. The new fiscal year for the government starts October 1. The government is only allowed to approve a certain number of green cards every fiscal year. So from every October 1 to September 30th, there's only a certain number of green cards that are allowed to be approved. Typically, the closer we get to the end of the fiscal year, so typically that closer we get to September, the numbers of approvals tend to slow down and numbers tend to backlog. However, depending on what your situation is, I would not wait until January to apply if you are eligible. If you are eligible to apply, then I would apply now and get yourself in line. If you apply, let's say today, September 18th, 2023, as we watch those numbers move, as we watch those dates move, your place in line is quicker than if you waited until January 1, 2024 to apply for your green card. So depending on what your situation is, waiting may not be the thing. Now, there could be something else in your background or in your individual circumstances that may, I may say, well, maybe we do want to wait a little bit, right? But I don't know your specific circumstances, but in general, I always tell people apply when you are eligible and then you lock in your place in line. So let's see here. How can I make a consultation? You can click the link in my bio. There is a link specifically for scheduling a consultation, or you are welcome to call the office at 954-903-1337, or you can go onto the website at clwimmigration.com, and you can pop a note from us there, and then we can reach out to you. So all manners of ways to get in touch with us. Or you can put a note, you can send a DM to this platform that you're on, and we're more than happy to send you the consultation link that way. Okay, y'all, those are all the questions that I see. Let me check Facebook real quick. And all right. Here. All right, y'all. I don't see any more questions, so I am going to go have a cup of tea and make some dinner. And I will be, let me check my calendar, but I'm pretty sure I want to go live again tomorrow, answer some more questions, chat with y'all for a little bit. Yes, I will be live again tomorrow. So I will be here tomorrow, probably sometime between 5 and 6. But it has been wonderful chatting with you all. As always, some really, really good questions. And have a great evening. And I will chat with y'all tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everybody.